Boom. And we live.
What's up, family?
It's good, everybody.
Hopefully
Good.
everybody doing good, staying safe.
Man, staying healthy, man.
Yeah, what?
It's crucial out here.
No, for real. Y'all be careful what y'all eat, all that.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all wearing y'all masks.
Washing your
Staying.
hands.
Yeah, wash your hands for sure. You should have been doing that beforehand. If we got to tell you to wash your hands, this might not even be the YouTube for you. You might need to start somewhere else.
I need you to sleepy OCD with it, like, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, for real. Like everybody need to be a germaphobe right now.
Right.
But nah, what's up with y'all though? Y'all know it's another week. First off, we gonna say happy birthday, Nip. You feel me? We gonna have his vibe in the air today for this Sector Sunday. I know we got some West Coasters in the house, so it's perfect timing. But yeah, it's another week of Sector Sundays. This is even more special, just because it is the semifinals now. So whoever wins this week, they will be going on to the finals for that championship. Cuzzo rights. We might even have a prize in there. You never know. But yeah, if you haven't been here, basically, this is our third rendition of Sector Sundays. So our third season. This season, we have had a Bull versus Bear case tournament every Sunday. So if you missed them, you can go back and watch them. This week, we are doing Coinbase. So we will have Leah and Dave as the Bears versus Lori and Sam as the Bulls. Each team will have 15 minutes to present their case. And then we'll have some rebuttals after that. Last week, we have not given y'all the winner last week. Who won last week, AJ? People want to know.
Man, listen. It was a battle, you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Vic and David, our first single head versus head. But I must say, the Bears pulled through. So shout out to David in the NNDM Bears, man.
Okay, shout out to David, man. Shout out to David. So the Bears did win last week. Thank y'all for all who voted and participated to give it a little bit more spice. So that means that David will be facing off against MJ and Kevin by himself. So next week we'll have Micron. It'll be Bulls versus Bears. I think David actually got the Bears again, so he'll be a Micron Bear by himself next week. So make sure y'all tune into that for sure. AJ, did you have anything for the people before we go ahead and get this started? They look ready, man. I do not want to hold this cage.
I do not want to hold it up either, man. I'm just excited, bro. I can't even tell.
For real. But yeah, we got Coinbase. So the ARC big idea that we basing this off of is digital wallets. They do not have to speak to that. So don't be like, oh, well, they didn't say. It doesn't have to be that. We just use that as the topic to be able to pick a company based off of. But Coinbase is a very, very popular item in the stock market right now. So make sure y'all paying attention. Bears, y'all could go ahead and pull up y'all presentation and we'll get right to it.
I bet. So I'm Dave Fenellis, and I have with me my lovely
Leah Eberhardt.
And we're about to talk about Coinbase from Bears' perspective. So here's the growth. Now, before we continue, we're going to switch it up a little bit, right, Leah? You think that's cool?
Yep.
All right. Let's bring Brian Armstrong to the front of the conjugation real quickly. Brian Armstrong is the co-founder and CEO of Coinbase. Rice University grad, computer science, economic major, but let's do this real quickly. Brian, you had a hell of a run and you superseded everyone's expectation by being the personification of holding the line when it came to Bitcoin and 63 other alternative coins. But we need to talk for a little bit. We really need to understand, after 9 years of building a hell of a platform, and being an early adopter and one of the first movers in the space if you can really sustain this growth. Because being the first to the market doesn't necessarily mean that you'll stay on top. Ask eBay how they feel about Amazon, or Netscape how they feel about Google. So I do applaud you for your inception story. I mean, it was very noble to say the least. You basically started in 2012 after working as a software engineer for Airbnb. You witnessed firsthand the difficulties of payments and getting transaction accomplished throughout the world, certain places like South America. You've done funding and done research project in Argentina, and you were motivated to create Coinbase inspired by a paper you read by Satoshi Nakamoto on Bitcoin. Cool story, bro. But here's the thing. Are you more than just a one-trick pony? Because you want to be the AWS of crypto. You want to be the PayPal of crypto. You want to be the Facebook of crypto. You want to be the Google of crypto. But are you way over your head? Like, what is your moat? Is it security and or liquidity, or even both? You're emulating all these companies in other industries. But what happened when the PayPal of crypto gets dethroned by PayPal focusing on crypto? Or AWS of crypto decide to focus its resources on providing better services for crypto? But Brian, here's the thing. Your relationship with management has been horrendous so far. You've actually went through executive after executive, losing through a various disagreement of management style, company direction. I mean, Business Insider spoke with 11 Coinbase insiders and talked about your management style. They describe you as an intense executive. They describe you as awkward in social interactions. Your miscalculation on how you communicate hasn't been well received. Matter of fact, as you were reportedly preparing for your IPO, you had 5% of your employees walk out of you as you're in a pivotal moment when Bitcoin was scaling. Because you didn't want to be apolitical. You wanted to be apolitical and you didn't want to take a side. But, dude, I have to ask you, where is this going to go? Because the faster the revolving door spin, the higher the risk goes. How's a company found itself in a position to continue be successful if you're constantly going through leadership, right? Really, what's going on? Because even recently, you had Brett Redfern, who was a former SEC director, only worked for you for 4 months, and he had to jump ship. Whew. That is crazy. Or how about Jeff Horowitz, right? Very famous subsidiary investor for BNY Mellon, right? He basically was your rite of passage to legitimize as a legitimate company when it comes to the crypto space, because he was an institutional insider. Yet he left after a few years. So what does that say? Are you still legitimate or not? But let's get beyond that. Let's understand what your focus is, because your user experience ain't that. I mean, there is just hundreds, if not thousands, of reports out there that talks about, your company being hacked, unable to be contacted. I mean, it's not what you do, but who you are. So you're so focused on the numbers and driving the scalability that you're losing sight of one thing very important, which is the user experience. Speaking of which, let's toss that out. you've been hit with several lawsuits, which you know what? We'll talk about a little bit later. But let's focus here on this one line, this few lines here about the different complaints. The complaint alleged that 1 month later, and this is after the IPO, a high-flying promise of Coinbase came to a screaming halt as Coinbase conceded to need to raise capital and revealed performance issues, which that prevented users the ability to trade cryptocurrency. Real important. Like, this is your entire business, right? It's basically being an exchange fund for users to be able to trade and actually have access to cryptocurrency. But yet they've experienced many outrages. And you know what? Here's the problem. They pleas were going ignored. They were asking for help. I mean, even the New York Times and several other publications were able to actually release articles talking about this. And let's not even talk about some of those political missteps. But here's something about the sentiment of your company. Everyone's feeling that they're ignored. This is not sustainable. And when we talk about your financials, yeah, they're great. They're growing and scaling with Bitcoin. But is that a bubble? Once again, I'm going to ask, what happened to Netscape? Because here's the thing, what we found out is that your favorite measure of profitability is non-GAAP EBITDA. And that is really one of the most popular way to measure unprofitable company, because what it really does is it removes or overstate the picture of your fundamentals, right? By adjusting the calculations and giving significant leeway to excluding costs. So how profitable are you really are? And let's not talk about majority of volume is through transaction fees, but we'll get to that in a bit. Leah, can you just kick it off?
Yeah, let's talk about some of these actual legal issues. These represent just a few of the numerous lawsuits Coinbase is facing just this year. As a matter of fact, Dave, don't you have even a video that we're going to bring up in a minute about those transaction fees? But most notable is this Metzler and Keck one. After the IPO debut in April, again, like Dave said, you announced the plans to have that 1.25 billion convertible bond sales with statements that mislead the investors. And so they're suing you for another 5 million. 2 days after that announcement, those technical problems, including delays to network congestion, affecting all of those who wanted to get their money out. And of course, customers are suing because they realize that even if you can scale in user base, these issues will grow. And I ask, who will be footing the bill for these lawsuits that pile up? Maybe, could it be Coinbase users through their transaction fees, perhaps? I think so. One of the cons to Coinbase is itself. Being overly reliant on your transaction fees to generate revenue is its greatest weakness. To date, upwards of 70% of all total revenue is from customer transaction fees. This is a huge problem now that Come Up Pick List approved Robinhood has IPO'd and is stepping into the crypto space. With all their all-in-one and not tiered fees of up to 0.50%, Robinhood and others, who we'll get to in a minute, have already been able to reach you, Brian, with the bottoms-down approach to pricing. This allows them to better scale any future products that the platform will be developing to compete against Coinbase. But hold on, Brian, weren't you not supposed to have transaction fees? Go ahead, Dave, roll that tape.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Oh, I don't think we can hear it.
Oh. So over here, what Brian is saying is that Bitcoin is basically built on the premise of not having transaction fees, basically removing all the issues that traditional overseas financial transactions have basically occurred over the years, which caused a lot of delays and people not getting their money in time. So that's pretty much what it's saying.
Don't worry, we'll be able to put the video on the Facebook group for everyone. Let's talk about the development and introduction of existing and new products and services by competitors. Square Cash App has PIN entry, Touch ID, and Face ID verification. The balance of the platform is securely stored offline, not just push, email, and text notification alerts to you of any account outages. Security-wise, you can choose to pause card spending instantly if you feel as though you need to, all with lower overall transaction fees. And Square only generated a 2% gross profit on its Bitcoin sales, so it's not as dependent on Bitcoin and ETH to survive as Coinbase is. He who owns the data owns the game, a wise man once said. Square via Cash App is dominating by not only being the better overall risk to reward, but data has shown that the majority of Coinbase users are also Square Cash App users already. Now that Square is diverting more attention to the retail customer who transacts with crypto, they stand the better competitive advantage. You also have Venmo, who has access to more monthly active users with 70 compared to Coinbase's 8.8 million. No big transaction fees to transfer funds, third-party transfer coming at the end of the year, and any issues with Venmo, you can directly contact live agents via the phone through the live chat, not the bot experience that most of the lawsuits filed against Coinbase have in common. Talk about insecurity. If you want to go to SIM swapping, which is tricking your phone provider into transferring your number into a hacker's phone, this happens thousands of times, and that's included on Coinbase. Once the funds are taken and put into another account, it's almost impossible to track and get your money back. And it happens on all service providers, including, as you see here, Apple, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Because 60% and 56% of all trading volume comes from Bitcoin or ETH, Coinbase is subject to any adverse conditions, including compromises that affect both coins. A popular one is forks. As the diagram shows, it's accidental or intentional divergence into multiple networks. Hackers can use this to plant a bug and steal your data. Coinbase is not incident-free. As you see, just 2 days ago, customers were reported locked out of accounts and unable to access and withdraw their funds. These threats from hackers, insiders, and state intrusions are usually backed with significant financial and tech resources to make them more than idle threats that are taken lightly. Further, there has been an increase in such activity as a result of COVID-19. Brian, you yourself say, as a result, our costs and the resources we devote to protecting against these advanced threats and their consequences may continue over time. Of course, we know that, Brian. Take it away, Dave.
And here's the thing, you're not even number one. This whole market is saturated, and as Bitcoin becomes more and more popular and the hundreds of other altcoins, comes competition that focus on user experience. And this is basically a zero-sum market where basically they're going to just continue driving the cost. Just like Robinhood disrupted the traditional equity market, same with all of these. You know what? Reserve the rest for later.
Yep.
All right, y'all done?
For now.
Hey, I'll take it. All right, cool. So the Bears made their initial case. She be coming with that energy.
That's that West Coast energy, right?
She be coming with that energy for sure. All right, boys, y'all got something to say after that?
We're ready.
Hey, I'll start when y'all start.
Yeah, we ready. Can y'all see it?
Yep.
All right, Laura, you got it.
Hey, Cuzos, how are you? This is another Come Up Production Product Part 3. I'm Lori and Sam, and we're here to present to you getting familiar with Coinbase. Next slide. What is crypto? Crypto in general is the world's best kept secret, cryptography, known for decentralized markets, systems, applications, and are a network that exists outside the control of governments, entities, and central authorities. What is blockchain? Blockchain is a type of database that basically stores and records transactions and that are specifically time-stamped and collected based off of the transactions that occur on the decentralized markets. Next slide. Now we're going to talk about what's in your pocket. We all carry a cell phone. And basically, do you know the value of what's in your pocket and what are the opportunities that are included on these cell phones? So we're going to talk about digital wallets. Some of you guys may be familiar with Cash App, Venmo, Robinhood, SoFi, and these are some of the competitors that our Bears really did cover. But as you can see, the United States is not the only continent that pretty much uses these applications as well. You have digital wallets, which are also in Europe, South America, Africa, and Asia. Now, what's the importance of this? The reason why this is important is because basically, when you're using this system, you eliminate the middleman. Who's the middleman? The banks, entities, and governments. So what you can do is use these applications and then also reduce your fees and then also transact with anyone, anywhere, all over the world with a reduced fee while you're reducing your time to clear your funds and then pretty much transact in multiple types of financial transactions. Next slide. Now, ARK Invest also looked at the influence of digital wallets. ARK Invest estimated that by 2025, we could potentially have 250 million users who would install some type of application which transacts these transactions. Now, what are these financial products that we could go through? In general, we use the credit card. If some of you guys don't know, Coinbase also has a credit card or a debit card that you can connect to their platform. You have banking and retail checking transaction. You have platform fees, which go up to $1,000, insurance platform fees, which go up to $770, and consumer lending. Now, if you multiply an annual fee of about $20,000 per person and multiply that by 230 million people, that's almost 4.6 billion in valuation just by using a digital wallet. Next slide. What is Coinbase? Coinbase is a combination of multiple technologies. Coinbase, yes, it started in 2012 with the idea that you could send Bitcoin to anyone, anywhere, as easy as sending an email. And that was the concept that Brian had. He wanted it to make financial services easily and readily accessible to anyone, everywhere. Now, what did he decide to do? He decided that in Coinbase, they would build a crypto economy. What is this crypto economy? The crypto economy should be transparent. It should be fair. It should be accessible. It should provide solutions for institutional investors, family offices, individuals, as well as businesses. Next slide. Basically, what Brian said is our mission is to increase economic freedom in the world. We have 7.9 billion people in the world. About 1/3 do not have access to formal banking services. When you have third world countries such as Venezuela and hyperinflation steps in, that's a problem because the economy cannot print money so that they can transact their everyday transactions. But we also see that centralized systems have also failed with their fiat currencies. Now, I think Coinbase has provided a platform which allow us to bypass these errors. Next slide.
Let's hear from some of the cuzzos.
If you rewind all the way to federal banks, central banks, all of these authorities, those have all been manipulated consistently, and people of color have always been at the short end of that stick.
In 2008, it really hit me in a real personal way because my grandfather lost his home to a predatory lender. And to have that taken away from him, I said I can never stand by and let this happen again.
Crypto levels the playing field. It opens up avenues for people to really earn more, be able to do more for themselves, do more for their family.
The power of crypto isn't held by one person, one entity, one government. The power of economic independence truly goes back to the consumer.
Crypto, unlike before, like, you can own something that can't be manipulated by a government, by an individual, by a business, by an entity, and it's unheard of. It's the first time that we ever had the ability to do that.
Now I find myself, trying to imagine a world outside of Finance 1.0 where the promises of property ownership and of being able to send money across borders and the ability to receive crypto for your small business can actually come to fruition. And I believe that crypto has the capacity to do that.
You no longer have to be identified as a person of color or judged based on your skin color or your appearance, or even really your location or your address. You can instead just be judged on the integrity of your financial situation and get an opportunity to build something that historically we've been prevented from accessing.
All right, now getting into leadership. For the sake of time, I'm just going to focus on Brian Armstrong. Brian Armstrong, he's the CEO and co-founder of Coinbase. Something to note, he was a former software engineer at Airbnb. And as we know, Airbnb is a very successful online marketplace. Guess what Coinbase is? An online marketplace. All right, their business model is centered around trust. 3 entities they want to focus on is 1, they want to create economic access and solutions. 2, they want to make easy buying and selling, as well as easy sending and receiving. And 3, they want to focus on innovation, such as Coinbase Cloud, Coinbase Asset Hub, and more. So Coinbase Cloud, similar to Amazon Web Services, Coinbase Cloud is a platform that allows individuals and companies to integrate cryptocurrency within their business. Coinbase Asset Hub. On Coinbase Asset Hub, you can list your asset across Coinbase products, and then you can promote your vision to 56 million customers. Stable coins. Now, the reason why stable coins is important because 1, it's a cryptocurrency with a stable price. So if it's $1 today, it's going to be $1 tomorrow. And the reason why that stands out is because some hesitation with some folks around cryptocurrencies is fluctuation of prices. However, with stable coins, that is eliminated. And then 2, the Crypto Council for Innovation, which is a global alliance of leaders that work to communicate the promise and benefits of crypto to policymakers, regulators, and people around the world. The Bears talked about Square being of competition. However, Square is one of the leaders in terms of the global alliance. As you can see at the bottom, Coinbase, Fidelity, and Square. And then 3, NFTs have helped quickly mature crypto from just trading Bitcoin to legitimizing the decentralized finance and other crypto economy. Some notable headlines, we always talk about following the whales. Well, Cathie Wood, when Coinbase, was at a dip, what did she do? She decided to buy more and added it to the ARK family. And then 2, Tesla, they bought 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin using what? Coinbase. And if you do not want to hold a singular position in Coinbase, you can invest in an ETF that are on the left. Some notable partnerships, Elon Musk, SpaceX, and Tesla. I know it seems like it's similar, but they're all different entities. We have 2 investment companies and we have a bank. And then this headline from Wall Street Journal, China creates its own digital currency. The reason why this stands out is because if the United States does not do anything, then China is free to expand their global dominance. And we all know the relationship between China and the United States. So if you think the United States is just going to sit back and let this happen, you're sadly mistaken. Okay, we're getting into financials. When they talk about where's the growth, you're going to see it in a second. But our first quarter revenue was 1.8 billion, and then the cash that they had on the side was 1.9 billion. Quarter 2, growth. The revenue was 2 billion, and then the cash more than doubled to 4.4 billion. All right, so looking at E-Trade, what we did, we highlighted the EPS growth rate, which is better than 98% of its peers in the industry. Gross margin was better than 86% of its peers in the community. The average price for Coinbase from analysts, so trusted analysts, was $344 with a high of $500, meaning that there's still room to grow if you didn't get in, hint, hint. And then I'm not a financial advisor. Also, the PE ratio is better than 95% of the competition within the space. All right, bar chart. If we look down to ratings breakdown, 3 months ago, only 4 analysts had a strong buy. However, 9 analysts currently have Coinbase at a strong buy, and that's out of 14. You're muted.
Let's talk about the risk. Basically, the Bears already spoke about most of these. They spoke about the cyber attacks, the security breaches, regulation and enforcement. But if you think about it, what financial institution do you know that hasn't gone through that? Even the Treasury Department went through that this year. Next slide. Let's talk about the extras. Now, crypto was more than just trading. Coinbase wanted to prove that. Coinbase provides access to earn, to spend, to save, to stake, to borrow, to lend, to vote, and perform many types of economic activities. As you can see, they have acquired 68 million verified users. They have 180 billion assets on the platform, and they cover over 100 plus countries. Next slide. Now, what are the solutions that they provide? They intertwine their solutions for individuals, for businesses, for developers. For the individuals, you could connect to a wallet. You could connect to the web, which is Coinbase.com. For businesses, you have the Asset Hub, where you could also start up, provide a blockchain where you can provide sponsorship for new startup and new ventures. For developers, we also have the cloud. Next slide. Now let's talk about the top weighted companies on the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Now you have Apple Pay, which decided to work with Coinbase. You have Google Pay, which is working to join Coinbase. You have Tesla providing their support, and you also have Intel. Now, if these are the top players that are coordinating with Coinbase, then I don't know, it seems obvious to me. Next slide. Now, this is my confusion here. We also have the banks. The banks basically told the SEC, I believe last month or a few months ago, that they weren't interested in crypto. But why is it that we see Goldman, JP Morgan, UBS, they all are providing crypto as a form of products for their wealth clients and also in futures trading? Next slide. Now, when you look here, you could also check on their site. They have coordination and support over 100 countries. You have 19 in Asia, 39 in Europe, 18 in North America, 13 in Africa, 1 in Oceania, 8 in South America, and so on and so on. Next slide. Now the end goal. The end goal is that Coinbase is trying to transfer more than just, cryptocurrency and the value of wealth. What they want to do is to be the global Amazon of all assets, to provide a platform and to provide a voice for those who are unfunded and those who are unbanked. Now, you can go to the different resources and see that they're providing their crypto economics in order to allow for this to take place all over the world. Are you ready to own the future? Think about coin.
Seems like an obvious answer to me.
All right, y'all done?
Done.
All right, cool. So we have now officially heard both the cases. I feel like they was pretty good. AJ, how you feel about it?
No, definitely. I'm proud. Both sides presented great arguments. I'm ready for these rebuttals.
Yeah, it was very studious.
Very studious.
All right, Bears, y'all ready to give y'all first 3-minute rebuttal?
Dave, could you go to conflicting messages before you begin? Thank you. Okay, so we want to commend the Bulls for that great video. We loved it. However, Brian, we are going to need you to stop having Black people be props in your videos. As is clear by this New York Times article and plenty of other articles that we could have just loaded in here, Black workers there have been struggling with the king of crypto since it was a startup. You had so much backlash about the Black Lives Matter movement and also forcing workers to be apolitical, that not only did 5% of the staff leave, but then you had to hurry up and backtrack, which a lot of you CEOs do, who fake and aren't actually caring about the minorities and people of different colors than you. And now he all of a sudden wants to unequivocally say that Black Lives Matter. Black lives has always mattered, and you should have shown that from the beginning, and not with your first stance and then your backtrack when Black Twitter decided to get on you. Dave, do you want to go and talk about some of those known and unknown also messages as well too, and competitors?
Yeah, let's talk about this because, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. Because we got this going on where you're saying one thing, you're tweeting something, and then once you're confronted, you delete your tweet. Like, take a look at what Jack said regarding Bitcoin. And I'm going to actually read it. Bitcoin, crypto, is a direct activism against the unverifiable and exclusionary financial system with negative effect so much that our society. Important to at least acknowledge and connect the related societal issues with customers face daily. This leaves people behind, right? And think about Brian, he is such a snake because there is a website devoted to his deleted tweets. Apparently he had 675 of them in the last decade. Wonder what he's hiding. But let's go real quickly. And I want to talk about really what we have to worry about when it comes to
the
Coinbase.
Real shark in the room. Go ahead, Dave.
So here's the thing. You want to be the AWS of cryptocurrency, but Amazon is basically focusing on that, utilizing their platform. Matter of fact, they're actually hiring blockchain developers and digital currency product leads. Wonder what they have going on. But I'm gonna leave that.
What happens when the biggest shark decides to come play in your waters now, Brian?
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's time. That is time. We will go ahead and turn it over to the Bulls to give y'all 3 minutes.
Second.
Take your time. I'll start when you start.
Okay. Can you guys see?
Nah, I could see before.
All right.
Now I can see.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave this slide up for a couple minutes or a couple seconds and let the Cuzos just read the headlines. When we talk about racial discrimination and sexism in the workplace, FANG, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, plus Tesla, all have this issue. So I'll let that sit there for a second. Two, when we talk about the hacking that's happened, if you look at this article from the New York Times, there's a quote, it said 0.004% of its users had experienced account takeovers in the past year. When we talk about SIM swap, there's nothing that Coinbase can do on their end. SIM swapping is basically me calling Lori's provider and saying that I want to swap her number to my phone And because I have a certain amount of information, I have enough information to answer the questions. And now her number is on my phone. So there's nothing that Coinbase or any other company can do to prevent that. However, what you can do to prevent that, what people can do to prevent that, they can ask their company to do a SIM lock. All right, that locks their SIM, so that can't happen. Also, what they can do is they can provide a PIN number, they can include a two-step verification, or they can use Google Voice as the recovery phone number instead of their actual phone number. Another thing that I want to talk about, the deleted tweets. I know a prominent basketball player who shall remain nameless, who used to delete tweets, and people still go to his games and people still buy his jersey. So let's really talk about it. Okay.
Mhm.
Another thing, they talked about the risk. Shout out to Nipsey on his birthday. He had a tweet a while ago, a couple years ago, that said, having strong enemies is a blessing. So if you know your risk, you know your weakness, which means that you can strengthen yourself and strengthen your business. So let's talk about that. Anything else, Lori?
I think we pretty much covered it all, except for the fact that it seems like the Bears are pretty much defaming our character. And are you going to invest based off of, someone's character? Or are you going to invest based off of the production of the company? What puts money into your pocket?
Because let's talk about it and be honest. Every company has a dark past. We're done.
They said they don't even need the whole 3 minutes. I'm feeling it. Starting to get a little bit spicier in the air.
A little bit spicy this round.
Well,
That definitely turned it up a notch.
I like it. All right, so we're going to get to the 2-minute rounds. Bears, I will start when y'all start.
Before you start, Dave, I know you have something that you want to share, but I just wanted to mention that Coinbase has been an after fact with Apple Pay and Google Pay. I know that the Bulls took and presented that now all of a sudden Coinbase is now allowing Apple Pay and Google Pay, but that was recently. All of your competitors are already on that wave. So we're not as much defaming Brian's character, although it speaks for itself. The fact that you're highlighting that Brian is no better than all of the other CEOs doesn't make it better or doesn't make it right. Two rights don't make a left or a right or a wrong. How about that? So I still think that it's very misleading saying that there are no hacks to the system. Just because there are no hacks to your platform, you are experiencing, you do have customers who lose money. And that can have an adverse reaction on the actual value of your stock and also you yourself as a company, especially when you have all of these other sharks coming in. We haven't even talked about Stripe yet or Binance. And then to be an overall business and not just focus on crypto, you cannot not mention Square and Venmo as well too. I know, Dave, you have something you want to share as well.
Here's the thing. Brian Armstrong messed up big time, right? He missed it. He really missed the opportunity to show, and he showed a very fundamental lack of understanding why Bitcoin is important, how Bitcoin was going to scale, how Ethereum was going to scale, how Lightning Network was going to work, why it's the best monetary network on the planet. Why is it going to usher a disruption on how ultimate scalability of business model and financial Bitcoin companies is charging the biggest retail world in small percentage? It is about a zero.
Gotta cut you loose, bro. Hate to do it. Gotta cut you short. But it's all good though, because y'all do have another minute. I suggest maybe you go first next time and let Leah, I'm playing with y'all, but
not you out here being coached.
Let me chill. Sam, Lori, y'all got 2 minutes. I'll start when y'all start.
Or you got it. You want me to pull up the slides?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, give me a second. Any particular slide? You got it.
Well, I wanted to talk in response to Leah when she was mentioning that Square is a competitor, and then you have Cash App and you have Venmo. But these other platforms have other products that they focus on, as well as AWS, Amazon. Now, if you have a company which is an innovator in the space, first of all, Bitcoin was introduced in 2008. Now, Binance is not one of the companies that's following the regulations. You have Coinbase is actually working with the regulators from the beginning to make sure that they set the platform right for the future long term. They're looking long term. Meanwhile, you have companies and countries such as China, which has banned Binance, and people have lost money off of Binance. So you can't even compare Binance to Coinbase. And then on top of that, if you look at what they offer the opportunity for small businesses. They offer the opportunity for individuals like you and myself in order to be able to invest in other assets, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, in order to get to buy a house off of the lending platform and the lending products that they have on their platform. Things that would take months and possibly years in order for you to qualify for through regular banking services. Now, I think what he's doing is he's offering an opportunity for you and myself. Yes, they do have issues where, they're dealing with, I don't know what company that doesn't have issues that's dealing with race at this moment, but because of Black Lives Matter, all of these things are coming to light. Now, we have to take it for a grain of salt and realize that we're going to ride with the wave and either invest with the future, or we're going to sit back and let the future leave us behind.
And that's time. All right, y'all. So we got the last minute coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and put the survey in the chat. Make sure y'all vote for what side you think won. On that note, Bears, I'll start when y'all start.
All right. Buying Bitcoin on the app is a feature. It's not a business. All right. This is a competitive market where new competition is going to come in every single day to undercut you. With a 4% transaction fee, not going to work. Right. So when you look at companies like a Robinhood, what allows you to actually use your crypto, exchange that over so that you can actually use your profit so you can buy stock, or possibly use the Robinhood card here so you can actually make purchases of that, a true digital wallet. So I really ask you, what are you working on if you're not creating a great user experience? You're obviously not creating the best financial experience out there in the world. You're not. And there is growing competition every single day. I'm going to reiterate this and say it again. Watch out for Square. Watch out for PayPal. Watch out for Amazon. They're going to eat your lunch.
Time. It's a solid minute you got there. All right, Bulls, it's your last shot to get whatever you got to say off your chest, and that's it.
I'm ready.
I'll start when you start.
Okay. Well, you're telling me that we need to watch out for the competitors, but what you fail to realize is that we provide a platform to make sure that all of these companies intertwine, because we have a big task of making sure that we address the whole worldwide population, and not one company would be able to push this crypto economy. So we need the assistance of all the other companies to come together on this platform to make this crypto economy readily accessible. With the backing of the federal government, that would make it even better. Because look, China has their own cryptocurrency. The United States is about to plan their own cryptocurrency, FedCoin, right? So if you see other countries are doing it too, then I don't see it as being a competition because the platform is already there. We just have to follow the future.
And lastly, how can you call Square competition when they're part of the CCI?
That's time. Man, I was good, man. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all made it real tough on the audience.
Y'all came with that energy on them rebuttals, boy.
That's facts. Make sure y'all show them some love in the chat for real, for real.
Excellent
Thank you,
job,
Sam and Lori.
Good job. Thank you, guys.
Good job,
That was
you
a
guys.
good
Thank
job.
you.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all showing up prepared as always. I know if I can't count on nobody else, I can count on y'all for sure. So
right here.
And I hate to send two of y'all home. But we gonna let the audience decide. That don't got nothing to do with me.
We never disclaimer.
That's facts. I do not vote, so don't give out at me. It's all the people. But again, definitely appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all vote. The link is in the chat and it's in the description. If you need a running back, we do leave the vote up for a few days. So if you need some time, make sure you vote in the right way, not just because you like Lori or you like Leah energy, you feel me? Make sure you know it's based on the facts sometimes, you know? But definitely appreciate y'all, man. AJ or anybody, do y'all got anything to say to the people before we get up out of here?
Just make sure y'all pay attention this week. You know, I'm looking for that consumer spending report on Tuesday. You know, I'm looking for the meeting minutes of the FMLC on Wednesday. So just make sure everybody pay attention to not only, you know, the charts, but what's going on in the macroeconomics and micro. So
very important.
Yeah, interesting week. Yeah.
Anybody else?
No, this was fun. Thank you guys once again.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Y'all understand. Thank y'all.
Man.
We are so nervous.
Look, we gotta come complete the assignment, right? Like,
yes.
Hey,
Tebow, now we come complete the assignment.
That's facts. Y'all understood and completed the assignment. So I definitely appreciate that. Lord willing, Jolene and Mark should be well rested now. So hopefully we get them back this week. If not, I ain't even tripping because doing this once a week is hard enough. They do it twice and some. You feel me? So just keep them in y'all prayers, man. Make sure you know you just really taking the time to pray and show them some love as needed, because this is not an easy thing to do, to get up twice a week and give predictions or give thesis or give just all of the information that they give. To be the person who does that, like think of yourself as that person who's getting on camera every single week at a certain time. It's not an easy job to do. So make sure y'all show them some love. Outside of that, risk management. That's all I'm gonna say for this week. Just make sure you managing your risk. Do not take any trades that you have to think about once the market, like if you thinking about a trade right now, you need to close that trade because either your position size is too high, you took it just because somebody else told you to, and that's just an easy way to lose money. Eventually, you may win this one, but if you continue with that pace or that scenario, eventually you're going to lose a lot of money, and I don't want to see nobody lose money. So risk management, that's the main focus of being in the market. Outside of that, I don't have much else. We'll go ahead and get up out of here. Definitely appreciate all y'all showing up and tuning in. Y'all have a good week, man.
Peace and